Good morning. Welcome, everybody. So we're going to talk about aging in place today. My name is Karena Stipp, and I am a senior specialist realtor. I think a lot of you in the room we've met, maybe spent some time together. And so today we're welcoming our expert speaker, Katie Cox from GreenLight Mobility. And I met her a few months ago and was so impressed with all of her qualifications. Katie's been an occupational therapist for over 10 years. She owns GreenLight Mobility. She's also a CAPS certified specialist, and what CAPS stands for is Certified Aging in Place Specialist. It's a certification. I do know a few realtors who have that certification. I feel like my other certifications kind of bleed over into that, but when I meet anyone who's CAPS certified, I'm always impressed by that because it's really a commitment to helping seniors. It truly is. And the other thing that she is a residential contractor. So that's a lot of wealth of information that she's going to bring to the table for everyone in this room today. So I'm going to turn things over to Katie, and we're going to jump out of this presentation and into, let me start it. There it is. Oh, it's on the screen. Okay, so I think there we go. Okay, and I'm going to turn over. So welcome, Katie.
So like Karena said, my background is in rehab. Morgan here, her background is in rehab. And we decided that this is kind of the world that we wanted to be in, is helping people stay in their homes or helping people return to their homes after injury and that kind of thing. So the idea, sort of our model, is that anybody who has questions about their house, who doesn't know what they need or does know what they need but doesn't know where they need it, can call us for a home assessment. And we can come to your home and walk through with you, answer any questions that you have, make recommendations, and give you estimates for if you ever did want to get any of this work done. You could get it done. You don't have to get it done with us, but you could, and we can give you pricing on those things. So our common kinds of projects include things like ramps, stair lifts. We do all kinds of things in people's bathrooms. We can convert tubs to walk-in showers. We do grab bars all day, every day. So we're going to be talking about a lot of things like that and some other things that you guys can think about as you consider aging in place or just creating your home environment as time goes on. So, so we talk a lot about fall prevention because that can be one of the biggest things that contributes to people not being able to stay in their homes. So a stat here, 1 in 4 adults over the age of 65 experiences a fall each year. And if you look at the percentage of hospitalizations amongst older adults, the ones that are injury-related, caused by something, I don't know if you can see, 68% of those hospitalizations are caused by falls, followed distantly by car accidents, poisoning, and other types of accidents. So falls are a big deal as you age. And after you fall, recovery also can get harder as you age. Falls can result in more serious injuries as you get older, and it can be that much. So it says 1 in 5 falls results in a head injury or broken bones. 88% of seriously injured older patients don't return to their prior level of functioning. So one of the biggest things we want to do is help people plan ahead and keep them from falling. So I know it's something that you hear about a lot, and it sounds kind of boring because it's a prevention topic, but it's one of the biggest things that can help people stay out of the hospital and stay in their homes. So, also feel free to interrupt me with questions at any point, and we'll also have questions at the end. So I thought I would take you through some of the common types of projects that we do, but they're also some of the sort of like simple things that you can do around your home to help prevent falls and sort of maintain access in your space. So we're in North Carolina. A lot of our lots are hilly, and there's steps. You almost can't avoid steps in a lot of places. So a good set of stair rails sometimes is all you need, right? You don't always have to have a ramp or a stair lift or anything fancy. Sometimes just a couple of rails can really help keep you safe and active. Some other things here that are nice about this set of stairs is there's a pretty even rise between the stairs, so you step up the same distance for each stair, which helps just prevent like the unpredictability. You can, if the last stair is 1 inch higher than the stairs before it, that can cause falls. Also, the treads here are nice and long, so they're long steps with relatively, especially these first 2 steps, I guess I should say, they're long treads with relatively short rise. And there's decent kind of color contrast, so if you're thinking about vision, it's nice to be able to see the difference between, say, the treads of a stair and the rise of a stair. So just those are some things to think about when you're looking at your stairs, and also the railings. This is an example of the ramps we do all the time. These are nice because they can be installed quickly, and I think almost everywhere you don't have to get these permitted because they're not considered a permanent attachment to the house, and they don't require footings or anything like that, so it's considered a temporary installation, and so it's something that can be done simply and quickly. So, again, this is kind of like one of our most common things. These ramps are made of aluminum. They last forever, so we have rental programs with these ramps. Because a lot of times a short-term need would come up, say if you get injured or recovering from something, you might only need a ramp for a couple of months. So this is a good sort of option for those times as well. We also do a lot with this. This kind of project happens a lot in people's garages, but a lot of times I keep doing that. A lot of times your garage steps are not constructed as intentionally as other steps in the house. Sometimes there's nothing to hold on to, and sometimes you don't have the consistent rise and all of that. So these are some projects that we did. Again, people didn't need super fancy things like ramps or stair lifts. They just needed a better set of stairs. And that's a good way to stay active too, right? To keep doing your stairs as long as you can. So, for example, this is kind of like the starting point of one of the projects we did, and these are two kind of examples of what you can do to create a safer space. So, with these stairs, you can see the top step comes flush with the threshold of the door. So. It kind of minimizes the things that you're having to do as you're going through the door, right? So you're not having to fool with the door and step up or step down. Your first step comes all the way up to the threshold. And then obviously we added handrails. These 2x4s don't count as handrails, but these are because you can't really get a good grip on them. So having a good graspable handrail there that you can get your hand around can be very helpful also. And then down in the bottom left there, you can just see we created a platform that just gives people a little bit more space to maneuver. Sometimes the space in a garage sort of dictates which way the stairs can go down. So those are just some things to think about there. I'll use this chance also to talk about lighting, because I'm not sure I put it in another slide very intentionally, but it's a lot of times these are places where lighting is low and it can be hard to see what you're doing. So having good lighting in these transitional places where falls can happen is very helpful. Yes? Yeah, we can talk about ramps and garages. Mm-hmm.
I think you said earlier that stairs did not require a license, not a license, but inspection.
Oh, a permit.
A permit, but okay, it's not. But for a ramp in a garage.
So that doesn't. So again, a ramp like we do. Those aluminum ramps are not a permanent addition to the.
Oh, you do not do wooden ramps like these or stair? Because I have.
Oh, I see. So a permanent wooden ramp in a garage probably would need to be permitted.
Wood.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, because it's a permanent addition. Yeah, and it's your garage space, and it's the transition from. So there's rules around, say like railings above certain heights and things like that. So, yeah, so that would be a permitting.
So a permit means that you would also have an inspection.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Any other questions here? All right, we also do a lot of indoor railings, custom wooden indoor railings if you got existing railings that you'd like to match. Some things to note here are the extensions of the railing, the sort of like overhangs to help you. They don't start right at the bottom of the stairs and end right at the top of the stairs. They give you a little extra support as you're coming off the stairs at the top and the bottom. You can see that these railings go around that platform there and just offer a lot more support than, say, just like one straight rail up the wall. So a lot of times additional railing in your, like near your stairs, or even like walking down a hall in your house can sometimes offer all you need in terms of support in those areas.
So I see a carpet on the stairs. Would you recommend that? I imagine that was just a homeowner choice, but do you think carpet is safer or not as safe as just a wooden tread?
I prefer wooden treads. I think you're less likely to kind of like slip off the edge of the nose of the stairs. So yeah, this was a pre-existing. But yeah, I think a good wooden tread is helpful, and also that helps with the visual contrast, right? Because with the way that this carpet is coming down, it's kind of hard to see where each stair starts and ends, and it just gives you a more sturdy surface when you have a good wooden tread there. And if they did take this carpet up, they would have great visual contrast because they've got the white and the brown. All right, stair lifts. A lot of our homes are multi-story, and you don't want to lose access to all levels of your home just because stairs get difficult. So these are actually much easier to install and more affordable than a lot of people realize. It's a really quick half-day installation. It's installed into the steps themselves as opposed to the wall, which a lot of people just assume that they're mounted to the wall. So the way that this works, I'm sure you've seen them. Take a seat at the bottom of the stairs. There's a switch that takes you up. The seat rotates 90 degrees at the top to, I don't want to say eliminate, but to reduce fall risk, right? You don't want to be standing up from a chair and then fall down the stairs. So having the seat rotate will prevent that, right? Because if you fall back into the seat as opposed to down the stairs. When it's not in use, you can fold everything up, the armrest, the seat, the footrest, and it can just help you maintain access to all levels of your house if that becomes necessary.
So another question I have. So I have a client whose house is on the market. They had a stair lift, and I was really impressed. You cannot tell that the stair lift had been there because we had it removed before we put the house on the market because it's not a selling feature for most people.
People want to get it out before they.
I mean, and this is a 3-story home that's clearly for a big family, and they've just gotten to the point where they moved into senior community. Their chairlift company bought back the lift. Do you do that?
So it's something that we will certainly consider, right?
Okay.
If it's one of the brands of stair lifts that we work with. Yeah, because we have rental programs with our stair lifts also, because sometimes people don't need their stair lifts forever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we take, if it's, the brands that we work with are Harmar and Bruno, not that you need to remember that, but you can, I think there are a lot of companies that would buy this stuff back.
Yeah, it's amazing. You can't tell it was ever there.
Yeah.
And it was a carpeted stair.
Well, carpet is kind of easier.
Yeah.
To make those holes disappear.
Yeah.
Because you can fill the holes in the wood also, and a lot of times that makes it invisible as well, but not always. So.
Okay. Thank you.
This is another good option in the garage. If a lot of times people will call us and say that they need a ramp in their garage, not realizing how long that ramp would need to be to get them from top to bottom. And then once you realize how long the ramp needs to be, a lot of times it would fill up your garage to get that much length, right? So a lot of times a stair lift like this is a great option in the garage for that. It's because it's a big space saver. And it's something that people often don't think about. And often a stair lift like this would be cheaper than getting a ramp the size that you would need to get down to the ground there. So we also do custom curve. So I should say the straight stair lifts are much easier than people expect them to be. Custom curve stair lifts are a whole different thing. So these are obviously custom manufactured. There's a lead time of several weeks. It's a long-term investment. And it's much more expensive. But sometimes that's what you need, whether it's your situation that makes transfers difficult, or if there's no other way to get up a set of stairs that turns. I don't know okay, we do have that. So custom curved stair lifts are another thing that you can do to maintain access to all levels of your home. The other thing you can do to kind of skirt that issue a little bit in some places is just using 2 straight stair lifts, right? It's cheaper, it's quicker, and if you're in a place where you can make that transfer on the platform safely, then a lot of times that's what people prefer, as opposed to going through the whole process of getting a custom curve stair lift. We also do a lot of work with people's doors and door frames. So, especially inside the home, like going into the bathroom, say, whoever made the bathroom doors in North Carolina over the last century or whatever, didn't make them very wide. But a lot of times I'm at somebody's house and they just need 1 more inch to get, say, a walker through the bathroom door or something like that. This is an offset hinge that you can use your existing door, replace the hinges, and if you think about, I should have a comparison picture, but if you think about opening, say, a bathroom door, the door itself, cuts into the width of the frame by 2 inches, right? Because of how the hinges work and the door itself. So this hinge helps the door swing all the way back, so it's up against the wall, and it gives you that extra inch or 2, kind of like the full width of the door frame, to use. And you'd be surprised how many times that's all you need to get your equipment through and that kind of thing. So offset hinges are a thing that we do a lot. Also, you know about pocket doors. Pocket doors can be good space savers, but a lot of times they're not exactly feasible, and it's maybe more of a project than people realize because you got to get into the walls and make sure there's no wiring and that kind of thing. Barn doors can be a good alternative to that because it can remain sort of outside of the walls. It doesn't interfere with wiring, and it's a space saver in the same kind of way. So you don't have the door swing that interferes with the space around it. Also, door widening. Sometimes you just do have to get a door widened. But yeah, so a lot of doors are a thing that comes up. Doors and transitions between rooms are a thing that can come up a lot if you're using different types of equipment. We do a lot of grab bars. One thing that we hear a lot is that people don't want their bathroom to look like a hospital bathroom. And I'm just here to tell you, there's all kinds of designer grab bars out there. Basically every set of bathroom hardware that you could have in your home, there is a style of grab bar that matches that and is basically designed to go with that. So that's one thing. The other is, one of my favorite things is these multi-purpose pieces. So these are toilet paper. These are just examples of toilet paper holders and towel racks that double as grab bars. So if you think about, I sort of hate that there are ever any toilet paper holders or towel racks that are not also grab bars, because they're things that people want to, you reach out for the nearest thing, and most towel racks, especially, and toilet paper holders, are not designed for that, right? The towel rack will break, you'll pull things out of the wall. So these are good, kind of what's the word? Incognito, multi-purpose pieces that just add some safety to your home. And there's stuff like this for the shower too, right? There's shelving for the shower that can also be grab bars. Say there's a corner shelving unit that you can put your shampoo on, and you can also put all your weight on it if you need to. So grab bars can be cute. This is just an example. Sometimes space is an issue, and you don't want to have a big railing just sticking out into the middle of your bathroom all the time, and it might be hard to maneuver around that. These are flip-up railings that you can put, that you can't really see it here, but one of them goes straight out, and the one on the right is angled down for these kind of staircases, these short little staircases. And then when you don't need them, you can just fold them up and out of the way. So some space-saving ideas. Yes?
Grab bars, in reference to them being stable, will you have to remove the towel, in order to ensure that the grab bars are in studs, those other things? Yeah.
So in most cases, we have wall scanners that can show, or if you have, a lot of tile showers don't go all the way up to the ceiling, and there's exposed drywall behind the shower. Not exposed, painted, And so you can use your stud finder up there to figure out where the studs are, and go into those. But even if you don't have that, a lot of wall scanners can still get a sense of where the studs are, or just the structure of the house. So our installers are carpenters, right? So they know sort of where to expect the studs to be. But yeah, they do need to be installed in studs. So yeah. But a lot of people think you can't do grab bars in tile, and you definitely can. You just need the right drill bits, and we do it all the time. So fiberglass you can do if you have a fiberglass, like a hollow fiberglass surround. It can be a little trickier, and you can't always do it, but you still can sometimes do grab bars in fiberglass if you've got the right hardware and the right sort of space to do it in. So. Oh, and then, okay, so we haven't even talked about this slide. So toilets are another area that we think about a lot. A lot of our old houses have really low toilets, short toilets, that it can get harder to sit and stand from as time goes on. A lot of newer builds, and I mean, recently, you can get these taller toilets like the one on the left there. They're called comfort height toilets, and they're just designed to be a little bit easier for sitting and standing. And then on the left is just an example of a piece of equipment that you can use to, it's hard to see because it's all white, but the equipment adds about 3 inches of height to the seat. So it helps take care of that height issue, and it's a really sturdy set of handrails. So if you're not looking to replace your toilet, or you're trying not to do grab bars around your toilet, or grab bars wouldn't work because of space or other things, sometimes putting something on your toilet like that can be all you need.
The picture on the right, is that 2 pictures? Or are those toilets?
There's 2 toilets right next to each other.
They are.
That's just to illustrate the difference between toilet heights. I don't know where that. I don't. No, nobody's house that I've been in.
I actually was in a house like that. It was really strange. 2 toilets next to each other. It was one guy, really, and he built it himself. Yeah. So. So this one, what you're saying here, Katie, is this is a standard toilet.
Yes.
And this is a comfort height toilet.
Yes.
It's literally just showing you the difference
It's just
between
a side-by-side
the
comparison
2.
to show
That's
the height
all it
difference.
is.
Yeah. I think I've had nightmares about 2 toilets right next to each other.
It was
before.
weird.
Yeah.
That whole thing was weird.
Okay. This is another example. A lot of the things that we work with it's just like letting people know that these things exist, because a lot of these things you may have never thought about. Sometimes you need, say you have a favorite recliner somewhere in your house. There's no walls nearby to put a grab bar that would make sense, but you still want to use your recliner, and you just need a little bit of help sitting and standing. These are called security poles, and you can put them anywhere in your home that you have a normal ceiling that's not a drop tile ceiling, which almost nobody has drop tile ceilings in their home. So it's a 0 hardware tension mounted pole, and you can put it anywhere you want. So these are 2 different sort of versions of that. So these handles can be placed absolutely anywhere you want on this pole, and they can be rotated however you want, and then you fix them with a set screw, and it can be you can just put them exactly where you need them. This is a pole where the height of this handhold is fixed, but you can rotate it. There's a little set screw thing that you can pull out and rotate it very easily. So if you need it sort of rotated one way to get out of bed, and then you need it another way to help you get dressed, it's an easy transition to make. So, and they're space efficient. They don't require mounting something into your walls, and it can sometimes it's just a nice option for people to have to maintain access somewhere where nothing else makes sense. So we also do like tub shower conversions. sometimes it can get difficult, right, to make that step over the tub. And whether it's a low threshold shower or a barrier-free shower, there are obviously ways that you can replace a tub with something that's easier to get in and out of for whatever your needs are as time goes on. This is an example of a prefabricated shower, but one that's designed to be able to install different pieces of equipment and hardware as your needs change, right? So it's got, it's manufactured in a way, and it's got like layers of plywood and things like that where you can actually mount. You don't have to worry about like where the studs are. It's not gonna affect being able to install anything sort of as time goes on with these showers. Sometimes, this is a picture that's hard for people to understand, but this is an example of somebody who had a low threshold shower and had a short-term need for that shower to be a roll-in shower. So they didn't want to demo their shower and make it barrier-free, but they wanted this person who was living with them for a short time to be able to roll into it and use it. So, so this is a custom sort of decking project that we did. So it's like one deck inside the shower, one deck outside, and then a threshold ramp going up to the deck. And it's all sort of easily removable. They can pick it up and clean the shower underneath. And it's just it's a way to save yourself the hassle of having to demo and replace a shower. It does. There's certain like space requirements. It's not exactly feasible in every bathroom layout, but if you've got the space to work with, it's an option. So again, sometimes you've got a favorite piece of furniture that you just need a little bit of help sitting and standing from. There are pieces of equipment that you can get to help with that. These work with almost any couch or recliner sort of setup. All right, and that's the end. So yeah, does anybody have any questions or?
Questions?
One thing I forgot to say in the beginning, but 80% of falls in the home happen in the bathroom, so it's a room that we spend a lot of time in. And I also kind of wish I had emphasized lighting more in these slides, but one of the easiest things you can do is have some simple motion-activated lights around your house that help with lighting, because as you age, your need for the amount of light that you need to be able to see clearly goes up dramatically. So,
One question I had was average cost for something like a stair lift, just a standard ceiling kind of home that the stairs aren't extra long, there's no curves, any of that.
Straight stair lift.
Yeah.
To purchase, it's about $3,500.
Okay. One question I hear people ask sometimes is about elevators. And my answer is always, those are a bad investment unless your home is worth at least $1 million. You will never get the money back out. So I like the option of a stair lift better because it's something that's removable, so you can sell the house later and you've used it for that period of time. Or if a rental, for instance.
Uh-huh.
So one of the other questions I get is those step-in bathtubs where terrible investment. They absolutely have zero value. In fact, they're a detriment. I've shown houses where people who are seniors looking at them and they're like, what are we going to do with that? So I never recommend those. It's just not a long-term investment from a real estate perspective. I think there's other alternatives. And the biggest issue is when you install one of those, if you're using it, once you're in there, you have to wait for the whole thing to drain.
You need a fast
once
drain.
you've filled it. So you're freezing to death while you're waiting for the water to go down far enough to get out over that little threshold that it does have. So I think just all the way around, I never understand why people invest in those. They just get kind of pulled into the marketing and, you know, just say no.
Just say no. Yeah. Well, and also
talk to Katie, talk to me first, because we're both going to tell you no.
Yeah. And I was with a family the other day who was kind of considering one of those, but the tub that they would have been replacing is the only tub on that floor of the house. So they would have had no normal tub. And they brought up the idea, and I thought it was very insightful. If you get a young family that has kids, babies, and they need to bathe their kids who wants to, you know, buy this house, they're going to be like, where's the normal tub in this house, right?
Because you can't reach over that to get to a small child.
Yeah.
You'd have to be in the tub with them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not, it's not a great design. And it actually drains your hot water heater as well.
Yeah, sometimes you have to get a whole separate.
My neighbor made the mistake of installing one for his father when he moved his father into an apartment that he converted his garage into an apartment for him. And he's a retired engineer. He ended up installing a tankless water heater that's dedicated to that tub. And then nobody ever uses the tub. They will use it as a shower. So he's had family come and stay in that little apartment, and they just use it as a shower, which is fine. But
they can take a hot shower all day long in there.
They can. They could take a hot shower in there all day long. But it's still, he regrets it and says, I never should have. And it ended up costing him even more money by the time he installed the tankless water heater to serve just that one room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's about the same. I mean, it is. Yeah, it's really a standard tub size. You know, if you think about that, that's what they take up. But it's just. I mean, it was almost an immediate no when I just recently showed a house that had one, and it was in a 55+ community. So this was, you know, like the target audience for that particular, you know, that particular investment, and it still was. They were like hard no. Because that bathroom is going to serve their son who lives out of state that comes in and stays with him when he comes in. And he has kids. He's divorced. So the kids are going to join when he's at their house, and none of them want that bathtub.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's not anything that they would like live there and one of them would go use the bathtub occasionally. They just had zero interest in it at all.
Yeah.
And that's just what I see. So
can I ask you, well, what do you tell people? So I have a lot of people who want grab bars, but they're worried about resale value, and I'm interested in your thoughts on that.
I think there's a lot of new aesthetically pleasing, and you showed some great options. I think people think hospital when they see the old-fashioned ones, or institutional. So I do think if you can get something that is aesthetically pleasing that also is serviceable, that's what I would recommend. So put a little thought into it, shop around a little, don't just put in those, and please don't get the suction cup ones, please.
Oh, it's better not to have any at all than to have the suction cup.
Those will fail on you and you will fall.
Yes.
So I had clients late last year that I was working with, and they were combining households. The mother had died, the father was moving in with the daughter, and he's doing all right now. They found a home that worked that had a downstairs bedroom and bath, but the bath was a bathtub. And so we had a whole conversation about where the grab bars could go. And I said, this will serve right, you know, she said he's going to be okay right now with grab bars, but at some point you'll want to convert this. The thing is, pretty much any house they would have found with a bed and bath down probably would have had the same configuration. So they made peace with the fact that that will be something they will probably end up with a roll-in shower and so that was what we were looking towards is, you know, 5 years down the road when dad can't step over, could they convert that and are they comfortable with that? So we were looking towards that as we were accommodating all the other things to consider. And it's a lot. It's a lot. And you have to think about the cost and resale value and all of those kind of things. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anybody have questions? Yeah. Hang on, Barbara. Let me get to you.
When you come into a home to assess it, do you charge for that?
No, that's free.
Okay. You had spoken about grab bars in a shower with room for putting like shampoo and whatever on. I wish you had an example of that. Can you give a clue as to how to see what those look like?
Yeah, so you could, I wish I had a picture in there as well. So there is if you want to write something down, there's a company called Healthcraft Products. Then they do a lot of the really cute multifunctional kind of stuff. But what I was describing is like in the corner of the shower, right? You can mount a little shelf that's got sort of a chrome bar sort of around it. And then you can, so it's there as storage, and it just looks like nice, it's attractive, it looks like very nice storage. But then if you start falling or if you need something to hold on to, it's not gonna come out of the walls. Yeah. I'll add a picture to this for the next one.
You didn't mention kitchens.
Yeah, so thank you. Because we don't work in kitchens as much, but there are so many things you can do in the kitchen to help. So, what's that?
So many things in the kitchen where you may end up falling, whether it's slippery stuff, stuff to hold on to, other than the drawers.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can, okay, so there's a few things that I think about with the kitchen. So you're right about having things to hold on to other than the countertops. But I think I don't know about.
So some of the things that I've seen are install pull-out shelves so that you're not having to lean over too far to get to the back of the cabinet, so in the lower cabinets, okay? Think about having everything within reach. I just was at my neighbor's on 4th of July, and it just happened that my neighbor's wife is a small Asian lady. She had a friend that was a small Asian lady, and our new neighbor behind is a small Asian lady. So the neighbor's wife goes and gets this step stool, but she really still was struggling to get, and I'm taller, so I said, can I help with that? And I just grabbed and slid it into the top shelf, and I realized they're all behind me, and the whole room goes, oh. So try to take yourself out of the position of having to get out that step stool, I would say. Yeah.
And along those lines, making reach easier, there is like if you have if you have to use the cabinets that are up high, there is like hardware that you can put in the cabinets that pulls out and down.
Oh, like the closet pieces where you have hanging things that come down a whole level? Okay.
Yeah, so then you can, look at things sort of at eye level. Things are within easier reach. And the idea of like being able to pull things out as opposed to having to crouch down, and lazy Susans in corner cabinets can be very helpful. So I think
lighting, I think, is another thing in kitchens. If you can stagger your lighting where you have overhead can lighting, for instance, under cabinet lighting, just anything where you can add lighting, because your eyesight at the age of 50 starts to decline. So you need more light as you age. And so any way you can think of, and it may or may not be easy to retrofit, right? But for instance, I've had clients that are building from scratch in 55 plus communities, and they'll have extra can lights as one of the add-ons. And
makes a huge difference.
I always say, I think this is a good investment for you and for this going forward for the resale value, because you just can't get enough light sometimes. And so I've seen clients who will upgrade and add those packages because it's so much easier to do whenever it's, being built. Yeah. So think about that if you're aging in place now, or you're looking to move to a place that you'll age in place for the next chapter. Think about, how is the lighting, and is there something I can do to make sure that I add extra if I'm taking that step?
Yeah. And I was just going to say, in OT we talk a lot about task lighting, so like lighting specific for particular tasks that you do in a certain place. And it comes up a lot in the kitchen, right? Mm-hmm. Say over the sink where you're washing dishes and doing all of that, or wherever you cut your vegetables, or just think about the places that you're going to be working on tasks. and having some extra lighting in those places. Also.
And I would think that you would see this regularly just if you're CAPS, you're going in for an assessment. I think kitchens are one of the worst places where I see a lot of throw rugs. Okay, and that's a trip, especially those thick foam things, where you're standing in front of the stove or the kitchen. I don't know about you, but every time I've ever bought one of those and put it in place because I think it's a good idea, I stumble every single time. I've gotten rid of like 3 different ones because I'm like, well, that's just not for me. Like, I'm such a klutz that I just can't have that around me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can get other kinds of like little rugs and foot mats and things that are more rigid, have more, you can get backing, you can get the rubber backed.
So they don't peel
mats.
up.
So the ones that I think are really dangerous are the ones that can get folded on themselves or can slip around and all of that. So if you do need to have some rugs or mats like that, there's ways you can make them safer.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. But I just see a lot of them sometimes, and I'm like, oy vey. I mean, it's
I know.
just.
I think I'm sensitive about it because I'm an OT. So whenever I walk into somebody's house, they're like, "Don't yell at me about my rugs."
Well, and the other thing I see is, you probably see this too, but like an extension cord that's been dragged over from the wall because there's not like a place to put a good light. Like people buy the OT light because they know they need more light, and then they bring the extension cord over to the table next to the chair, right? And then you're going to trip over that. So some of those kind of things, I think you could go through a house and do an assessment. I'm sure that's part of what you do.
Yep.
Yeah. And are there solutions? So I've seen those like heavy duty rubber things that you'll see in industrial, like if you're going into a concert and they have those covering all of the cords. Can you get something that's not that ugly but keeps you from killing yourself?
Yeah, I mean, there's tape and other things that you can use to
affix that to the floor so that you get the light, but you also aren't tripping over it and breaking your hip.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Did I see a hand back here? Gary, no, you didn't have a question?
I was going to mention about stoves, where the stove, where you turn things off, or behind the stove. Right? And I know that's probably the problem if you got kids that maybe you want them back there. But as you get older, I would think you want the ones in front, but even with washing machines and dryers, the same situation.
Yeah. If you're replacing your stove, for instance, and you're going to age in place in that home, consider one that's a slide-in because those will have the controls up here. I was just in a 55 plus yesterday for an inspection. My clients are moving from a 3 stories to 55 plus, and that's one of the things. It's a gas stovetop that has all of the controls right here. And the other thing that they do in a lot of the 55 pluses, you won't even really realize it. You think it's aesthetic, but they're actually lever door handles rather than knobs because of arthritis. So,
and faucet controls.
Yeah.
It's good to have levers there as opposed to the knobs that you have to twist.
Yeah, it's subtle. It's subtle when you go into a community like that, and you may not even realize that you're struggling in your current home because you've been there for 20 or 30 years, and it's just par for the course, right? Like it's always been there, and it's the way it's been done. But there are better ways, and a faucet isn't a big upgrade. It's not a big expense, but consider that if that's something that's giving you trouble, maybe it's time to replace your faucet and put a new one in for a couple $100. Yeah, Gary, hey, let me come back. Okay.
I just saw something kind of funny the other day about they were talking about hand versus lever.
Yeah.
Except you may not want that if you got a smart dog, because smart dog.
Or a cat, yeah.
We had that problem in my home where I put one on my front door, and then we just keep the door. It's just always locked. It's just the bolt is always locked for her. Yeah, so she doesn't figure that out. Dark, bronze, brush, yeah.
Yes, they
All
come
the
in every
colors.
finish you can imagine, yeah. And the other thing I forgot, we were on the topic of faucets and things. An easy change you can make in your bathroom that can make a lot of things a lot easier is just a handheld shower head as opposed to one that's just fixed in place up there. It makes cleaning easier, like cleaning your shower easier, and it just can make life a lot easier in general with
We
handheld
have
shower
one
head.
that's a magnet, so it just, to me, it's the best thing ever. Because, I've had some where you can't hardly snap them back in. And I can imagine if you're older, especially or if you're a little shorter or whatever, it may be really tough to get those locked back into place. So I like the magnet ones. Moen makes a good one.
Moen does good stuff.
Yeah. Other comments or questions? Anything that's a burning desire that while you have Katie here? Yeah.
Client that I worked with recently with the chairlift, I learned when I was working with them that the VA Veterans Disability will pay to have it installed to the primary floor that they live on, but won't to the bottom.
Right. Yeah. I know that guy.
I wondered if you had any advice or suggestions that you've learned, will Medicare pay for certain things, or of course veterans, for example.
Yeah, so it's a lot of the stuff that we do is not covered by insurance or Medicare, things like that. There's a few. If you have long-term care insurance, that's something that will cover a lot of this stuff. Or if you're dual eligible for Medicare and Medicaid, I've heard that they cover some of these kinds of things, the ramps and the grab bars. Veterans. But there, like Medicare, standalone Medicare doesn't cover ramps, which I just think is crazy.
Well, it's kind of like hearing aids. It's ridiculous, and dental and all of that. It's kind of ridiculous that that's part of your health, but it's not covered.
Yeah.
But that's a
yeah.
whole other, we could do, a
Yeah.
whole other seminar on just that, probably. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, this is a small thing, but if you are getting stuff like this done to your house and you can get a doctor to write a prescription for it, so like just for fall prevention or community access or anything like that, you at least don't have to pay sales taxes. It'll save you
That's a savings.
7.5%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sold a home recently. I was on the buy side, so I was representing a buyer, and this home was part of an estate. The lady had passed away, and it was a curved staircase. And we found they had a file folder there in the house that had all of the paperwork for everything that she'd ever done. So she had installed a curved stair lift in 2022, and the bill for it was $12,000. And I looked at the brand and knew that that was a company that bought back, and said to her, contact them and see if you can get any money out of this rather than just chucking it. So they're not inexpensive, and I know you alluded to that. And I don't know what today's price would be, and I'm sure each situation is different because they're custom. But it's a consideration. Do you want to invest that money, or would you be better off to look at another home and then make it something that you can age in place? And, obviously people have all different reasons why they choose to age in the home that they're in. But those are some of the things that you want to take a look at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And any other comments or questions? Okay, let me do just a little housekeeping here, and then we'll wrap up. I've got here on the screen our month at a glance calendar for Southern Accent Homes. So I think, it's terrible that I don't know this, but I think that, because my web manager and my assistant do this, so I think you can click on this and it gives a description of what that is on the calendar. Has anybody done that? No? Okay, I think that's how that works. So then next month's seminar is going to be Pitfalls of Insuring Home and Auto. So we'll have an insurance specialist who will be here and talk about that. The newsletter will also address that. And this month's newsletter was Aging in Place Tips. So if you haven't received that, or you'd like to receive the newsletter, you can sign up on the survey or the feedback form that's there in front of you. I don't think anyone brought a new friend here today, but if you do, remember, you go into a drawing for a $100 gift card. So I'm going to save some money this month because we don't have that. And Downsizers Club will be again next week. And it's self-paced decluttering, honoring your own rhythm. So Downsizers information is right here. It's next Wednesday. And we eat the elephant a bite at a time. We're chunking away at it. I honestly think I've never been a part of AA or any of those kind of things. Thankfully, I've not had a need for that, but I feel like that is our AA meeting. It's a self-help group, I think, and we have a lot of discussion around the stuff and what it means and how to get rid of it and all of that. So if you need help with that, show up at the Downsizers Club. We're doing monthly community tours. Next month will be August 27th at 11:30 to 1. It's at the Templeton of Cary. Is this all? Yeah, because she's already cut off those. This month is Glen Eyre, which is on the 14th, but we had the final number that had to be turned into them last night. So we've already filled that tour, and we're working on August at this point. So she's got the deadline here to RSVP, and if you're wanting to participate in those, just let us know. And lunch is provided. You get a chance to explore all of these different types of senior communities, from independent living to CCRCs and a little bit in between, to see if that's something that might work for you. Coffee cafes, I'm here twice a month, so if you want to come hang out and have a snack with me and have any questions, I'm here on a regular basis. And you can also click on this QR code to go to the website, and most of our seminars are recorded. They're not all, but most are recorded. This month's I had already some questions from people who are in another class today that want to watch this. So if you have friends who need this information, have them go to the website and they can watch the replay. It's usually about the next week. Jacob sends the link and we get that uploaded so you can see it. Just a couple of other things. There's a senior living directory. This is a second edition. I was trying to think of what they do in publishing. Second edition, and we'll continue to make changes as things need to be updated. But if you don't have a copy and you'd like one, they're over on the table. You're welcome to take one. There's also an electronic version on the website. So if you want to browse that way, you're welcome to do that or send friends there. And then we've got the feedback form. Last thing, if you are not currently enrolled and would like to receive the newsletter, make sure you fill this out. And if you have any ideas for future subjects that you'd like to see, it'll be another couple months and I'll start working on next year's subjects. So it doesn't take long before I'm having to work on that for the next time. So I'm always looking for feedback, anything that you have an interest in, and I can take that information. If I can find a good speaker like Katie, then I like to plug that in so that you all can get that information and share it with others. So if you would, please, go ahead, Jean. Yeah, Michelle will be back on Saturday, so we're going to have a meeting about it. Lori's back in town. So I switched to a new email address. It's Karena@SouthSouthernAccentHomes.com. If you're not already receiving emails, or if you have been and haven't seen anything lately, please check your spam. We found that it's gone to spam for a lot of people. And Michelle is Michelle with one L at Southern Accent Homes. And we did that so that we could align, and it's caused all kinds of grief, and I'm sorry about that. And just as we switched, the lady who set that up, the web designer, went to Scotland, and as soon as she came back, Michelle left town, and we need to be on a call together. We've tried to do some pinch hitting, but anyway, we're in the works. So next week we hopefully can really do surgery on it. No. It's a little better. I think some have taken it, added me to their safe senders. It's the craziest thing. I still have the old email address, but it forwards automatically to this one. So just check your spam if there's something you think you should be seeing and you're not. So I want to give Katie a big round of applause, if you would, please. Nice job. And thank you, Morgan, for coming. We appreciate y'all coming out today. A lot of good information. Make sure you share it with your friends, because we don't want them falling and hurting themselves. So thanks so much, and I'll see you next month.